What's up, boys? It is Thursday afternoon, so I have drove the truck. Y'all are getting the videos all kind of wonky because I'm having to make time of doing the work, editing the videos, and being a dad and a husband, and going to bed at a good time so I can be worth a crap at work. So you're gonna get these videos all kind of out of order, but I'll eventually get caught up and you guys will get the videos more on time, so bear with me. But for the time being, it is Thursday. Monday I went and got the truck aligned. That was the last video you guys saw. Test drove the truck around all day, did fine. I drove the truck to work Tuesday. Wednesday it rained, so I drove the wife's car. Today I drove it, and right when I got off the highway, almost home, started smelling coolant. And I was like, man, temps never got hot. It never got hot. Like, I literally was watching the temp cycle from like 199 down to 193, 192, and it just kept going back and forth. So I was like, okay. And it never started smoking or anything, so I was like, okay, well, that's weird. It must, maybe it burped a little bit through the overflow. Well, I get home, and I've been home for a little bit now, but I noticed there's fluid all up here, there's coolant all down here. These lines were wet, so I thought it was these at first. I mean, there's coolant all the way up here. There's just freaking coolant everywhere. And then I noticed it's really wet right here around the fan, like it was getting caught in the fan and slung through the fan. So I kept looking down here, and like down here, I don't know how well the camera's showing it, but it's like puddled up in the core support. And then looking down through this hole, I don't think the GoPro is going to do a very good job of it, but I seen those tears and it triggered a memory. Before I got the NNBS fan shroud put on, I had those ghetto fans with the ties that go through the radiator and have the little clips on them. And something tells me right there somewhere one of those cracked and is leaking. But we're gonna find out. And luckily enough for me, I don't have that big stupid OBS shroud right here. And I made this like pretty modular and easy to work on. So literally all I gotta do, and what I'm gonna do, because I still gotta cook dinner for the fam, I gotta run the grill, so I'm gonna get this kind of tore down to where I can figure out what exactly is wrong, and then I'm gonna have to take a break, cook dinner, and then pretty sure there's gonna be a hole in the radiator, so I'm gonna have to go fetch a radiator and swap it out. But all I gotta do is take, well, I could just take this bolt loose at first, and then unclip the radiator hose, get the fan shroud pulled out, because it just sits on the bottom. So all I got to do, and since I use the GM pigtails on the quick connect, all I got to do is unclip the wire pigtails, the connectors. That'll get the wiring out, and then get just, you know, this stuff like this off of it, get the radiator hose off of it, unbolt it. I can lift the fan shroud out, and then we can get a good look at the back of the radiator and see what's going on. I didn't look. Ooh, that's not good. I hope that's just coolant that blew everywhere and that's not transmission fluid. That would be pretty whack. I think it is coolant though. We'll know when we get in there, folks. But yeah, I think I got a hole in the radiator somewhere over here for sure. But you know, it's part of driving this stuff and making mistakes in the beginning and fixing it now. Now I'm driving it, putting miles on the truck, and all those little quirks, all those little corners I cut, all those little shortcuts I took, they're gonna start coming out, and I'm gonna bring you guys with me so that hopefully y'all can learn from me and take your time and do stuff right the first time. So give me just a second to get some tools out and get this fan shroud out of here, and then we'll see what we got on the radiator, folks. Stand by. Okay, so I got the fan shroud pulled out, and that's transmission fluid. That is not coolant. Yeah, that is for sure transmission fluid. And then I re-dabbed all this, and I was like, wow, dipstick, that is transmission fluid. So that's for sure an issue with the cooler, probably the fittings or something. So what I'm gonna do is and I did notice the transmission was pretty cold. Like it's barely getting to like 100, 120 after the whole drive to work. So I don't know if that, I've been beginning to wonder if that temp sensor is accurate, or you know, if it's wonky or what. But you know, if she was at, you know, cold, that fluid's a lot thicker when it's cold, and probably was blowing not ideal pressure. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. I don't know, but the cooler is mounted in front of the radiator, so I'm actually gonna pull the grill off and get to it this way, and look at it. Hopefully there's just like a little crack in the line or something, and I can just tighten the hose up, or like cut a fresh piece and move it over or something. We'll see. Let me get this grill off and go from there. Okay, so you can definitely see, judging how that's only wet on the back side, I think it was just from what, you know, and we've got all of this and all of that on the radiator, so I think we had a leak with this connector for sure. So what I'm gonna do is loosen that hose clamp and wipe the line down and see if I can't see a hole in it, or what. You know, hopefully that's just a little too loose and it's leaking past it or something. But let's see. All right, guys. So might be a pretty easy fix. So I popped the line off, looked at the end of it. I can see where the hose clamp like kind of dug into it a little bit, but it didn't go through it. And I cleaned out the inside of the hose and looked at that, and it didn't, there's no hole in it. So what I think was, this hose clamp just loosened up on me. Another reason I think that is because I went to just try to put it back on, and like it's snug right there, but it's not tight. I don't know if y'all can see, but it's still moving the hose. Well, if I go to tighten it, the teeth are screwed up, so it's not getting any tighter. So I think that was my problem. That hose clamp probably failed. So what I'm gonna do is I gotta stop and cook dinner. But once I get done with that, I'm gonna look for another hose clamp and probably just replace that hose clamp. If I have to, I'll run to AutoZone. But yeah, hopefully it's just a hose clamp, boys. I'm gonna put a fresh clamp on it this evening, fire it up, put it in gear, and see if we can get it to leak. Getting dinner going. The grill is grilling, and got the new clamp on. Got this one super tight. Yeah, like the other one was for sure not tight. So got that one on there tight. Hopefully not too tight. Got the fan shroud slid back in here, lickety split. And I'm using daylight as my time gauge for you guys right now. Like, this has been a pretty not too bad task here. So what I'm gonna do is fire it up and let it sit for a while and see if man, I don't know if my headers are touching or what. Like, it has a weird noise on startup. But I'm gonna let it sit here and idle for a while. See if I notice a leak. If I don't, I'm gonna set the parking brake and put it in drive, and let it sit like 10-15 minutes like that. If I can't get it to leak, then when I finish dinner, I'll go take it for a drive. If I can't get her to leak, and then if she's good, she's good. A little bit of fluid burning off the headers, no big deal. We've been here before. Oh, shit. That's not ideal. I really got to do something about that. Why is it doing that, bro? That's weird. Y'all see this shit? Fuck's sake, bro. I don't know what's going on there. I'll get it ironed out eventually, boys. But for now, I'm just gonna let it sit and idle. Not seeing nothing yet, so that's a good sign. I'll check back in a little bit. As you can see, this is still bone dry. There was a little bit of moisture on this one, and then I noticed there's, I don't think the camera's gonna be able to see it. Maybe if I do this. There's a little nick in the lower line, right on the back side. Like right here at the tip of my finger. But it's not dripping. I went ahead and redid my heater hose situation, so I zip tied them to each other in a couple places, and then I actually kind of hung them from this hanger. That way there's not really a kink in them. So hopefully that helps. And then I put water in here. It was at the full line when I started, so janky truck problems. And what sucks is, like, I am like stupid strapped for cash right now. So I'm trying to make it work, but it's getting hard. Couldn't get it to leak there. I noticed that nick in the bottom, but it's not like dripping. It's not leaking through that nick. And the problem is, I would just cut it and, you know, cut the nick out of it and move up, right? Well, there's no extra hose. So if I cut that, it won't reach the cooler anymore, and I'll have to either put a coupler in it or replace the whole line, and do not want to deal with any of that. Man, that sucks. Worst case scenario, if that is leaking, I'm gonna get a male to male and some extra hose, and I'm gonna add in a coupler like right in here somewhere. I'll cut it, put a clamp right there, put a male to male coupler in it, put some fresh hose on this side. I hate doing that because I'm adding, you know, 2 more clamps to it, but I think I'm gonna do that for now, and then see about doing maybe AN, converting these to AN lines or something. I don't know how I'm gonna do that with the barbed ends on this cooler, but gonna have to figure something out, boys. It's this truck's whipping my ass right now, and it sucks, but you know, poor pity me, right? So I'm gonna slap the grill on. It's getting dark, of course, but I'm gonna slap the grill on right quick, get that on there, and then get everything buttoned back up so I can go to work in the morning. I think I'm gonna try to test drive it right quick, take it down the street, give it a little bit of RPM in gears, and see if that leaks. I'll come back and check it, and if it leaks, then, you know, depending how bad it is, if it leaks at all, I need to not drive it. So that'll be something else I'll have to fix this weekend. All right, boys, so just decided to go ahead and film another little clip. Took it on a drive, went basically 2 miles, went down a mile, stop sign, came back, got on it a little bit, not a big pull, probably half throttle to like 60-70 miles an hour. Did good, no weird noises. Well, I will say there is a weird noise, maybe like a, man, it might be the bumper or the exhaust somewhere, but it's for sure something like vibrating at a certain RPM tone. It's nothing engine related. I feel like my engine's a little bit noisier than normal, but it's not like a lifter tick. It's not like a bearing going out. It's probably just me being stressed out and paranoid, so it's probably fine. I'm just being fucking like, man, I need this shit to work out, you know. So I think it's just my nerves, guys. I'm stressed the fuck out, like, for sure. But anyways, test drove it, didn't get hot. Trans temp looked good. Was at like 125 when I got done. 125 or 130, pretty sure it was 125. Water got up to 199, went down to 192, back and forth between there and there, so it's fine. Took some carb cleaner, ran out of brake cleaner, took carb cleaner and like cleaned out the engine bay, wiped everything down so it's all dry, so I know if it's leaking again. Checked, put a flashlight on the 2 hose clamps, and they're bone dry, so hopefully it was just a couple pooped out hose clamps. If any of you guys have a suggestion on a better solution than a hose clamp, just don't say AN fittings for now unless there's something that goes onto a barred fitting. So all that is on that trainee cooler, it has male ends that stick out, and they just have a single barb on the end of them. So I feel like a hose clamp or something like that's probably my best bet. I don't know what pressure the transmission pumps at. I don't feel like it's that much pressure, but if you guys know of like some better style hose clamps or something, drop me a comment, let me know. I will definitely switch those out, because something about those just doesn't feel too great, doesn't feel too trustworthy. So other than that, look forward to another video here pretty soon. I'm gonna get after it this weekend on a little bit, get a little bit here and there. I might actually try to doll it up a little bit. We have some decent temps coming this weekend, so I might try to get the ugly off the roof at least do some primer or something. I got a couple cans of primer I bought, so yeah, look forward to that. Other than that, thanks for sticking around. Peace out, be human, and we'll see you next time.